America is a very diverse country with many different races, heritages, and languages that subside in it. With that being said, we get to see all of the different cultures and religious practices that are all around the world. Who is to say what is the common language that we all need to speak? Being so diverse helps us appreciate other cultures and how they have come to America. There are many different races, religions, cultures, and languages that we need to respect and be open to. All of us are immigrants due to the fact that our ancestors came here at some point in time. Let's take the language Spanish, for example. We have people from Mexico, Puerto Rico, or Guatemala here in America, and they all have to speak a different dialect of Spanish. In order to communicate, we all need to have a common language. And since people have come here to enjoy the fruits of America, then you should also learn to speak our language, which is the English language. Do you, as citizens of the United States, feel that we should have to learn the Spanish language because they are not able to communicate with us? In order to become a citizen of the United States, there is a test that you have to take, and one of the requirements is to be able to speak English. But for those immigrants that come to America with a work visa, the requirements are not the same. If we were to go to Mexico or Paris, we would try to learn Spanish or French in order to be able to communicate with the natives, even if it was for a short period of time. But seeing as they choose to live here and work here, then they need to be able to adapt and learn the English language. Whether you are at the grocery store, the pharmacy, the doctor, or at work, we all need to be able to communicate with each other. Why is it that we as Americans cater to certain ethnicities? For example, when you call any automated system, the first thing that you hear is press 1 for English or 2 for Spanish. Do you feel that is how it should be? I think it is valuable to learn another language, but I also feel that in order for us all to be able to communicate, that we need to speak that same language. Communication is considered to be the exchanging of news or information to others. Depending on the person, they communicate in different ways, depending on their attitude, environment, or personality. Many people take communication in any form for granted. In order to receive an education, to stay updated on news, to be able to interact with society, for entertainment purposes, or just to try to understand the world. You are constantly communicating with others around you, whether you think you are or not. Learning at school, working on a project with a coworker, or even hearing about a wildfire in another state, we are all communicating. Having an open line of communication with others helps them to understand you and you to be able to understand them. Daily, there is the need to communicate with others, since we are always communicating in some way or another. According to what a non-native speaker of American English needs to learn through listening by Boken and Sayas, when working to improve foreign speakers' intelligibility, no more than 3 sounds should be learned by any individual. Teaching immigrants another language will take time, and the drawback to it is the fact that second and third generation immigrants will not be able to speak their native tongue. Bringing us together with one language does not mean that coming to America, you have to forget who you are or your heritage. We all want to keep our traditions, but still have one language that we can all communicate with. In order for all of us to communicate, we all need to learn English. Yes, this is the land of the free and opportunity for many, but in order for all of us to get along, we need to be able to communicate with each other. The government provides cash assistance, women, infant, and children's programs, discounts on utilities, housing, and job assistance. So why don't they provide English classes? In order to become a U.S. citizen, a requirement is to learn English. So when immigrants come here as a permanent resident, why shouldn't the same be required for them? Every year around 70,000 immigrants come into the United States. Shouldn't they as well be taught how to read, write, and speak English? So in conclusion, we welcome different cultures into our great land. We need to set some guidelines so that they are able to adapt. Time frames can be established so that we teach every culture how to learn the English language. Not everyone will be able to master it at the same pace, but if we at least set up some parameters to start with, that would help. In order to learn, work, or be trained, we all need to have one common language.